Let's start with a really scary story. So imagine you go for a walk by the river. It's 7 o'clock in the evening and you're standing looking at the scenery and fish and stuff like that. Then suddenly a horrific creature comes behind you. It catches you by the neck and puts your face in the water. Then you drown and you die. Then this creature takes your form, your exact looks, the way you walk, the way you talk, and nobody can tell the difference. And it goes to your family and lives out its life as you, and no one is wiser. Now, isn't this a horrifying creature? But it's precisely the type of creature that abounds in Indian mythology. And today I'm going to tell you about 7 creatures that will make the hair stand on your neck and go, wow, or whoa mama. So let's get right to it. Let's start with the first creature, which is the Odiyan. Now the Odiyan is from the state of Kerala. Now what the Odiyan does is that it tracks down a pregnant woman and it marks a house with a secret sign. Then the Odiyan goes in the night and puts all these secret mantras on that woman. She is induced into a sleepwalking trance and the Odiyan draws her outside the house. Now I'm not going to describe what the Odiyan does next, but it extracts the amniotic fluid from the fetus. And while it's doing this, the woman is sent back to the house, and when she wakes up, she dies of shock. Now the Odiyan puts this amniotic fluid on its shoulder and it does something that's truly scary. So imagine you're walking along the highway and then this Odiyan comes in front of you and it takes the shape of something truly frightening, like a bull with large horns or a big scorpion, and you are paralyzed with fear. And while you can't move, the Odiyan takes a stick and breaks it. And using its magic, the moment it breaks the stick, your spine breaks, which is not conducive for a good life. Now the Odiyan symbolizes that people you think you might know are not what they appear. You think you know someone really well, but they could sting you just as surely as a scorpion. Now let's move on to the next scary mythological figure. This is the Brahma Rakshasa. Now, as you might have imagined, the Brahma Rakshasa is someone who's like very learned and has read every book, from every Upanishad, books on calculus, Harry Potter, 50 Shades of Grey. No matter what, this Brahma Rakshasa has read it. And then it hangs upside down on a tree. It asks you all kinds of riddles. And if you can't answer the riddle, the Brahma Rakshasa will kill you. Now note that the Brahma Rakshasa symbolizes that there are many people who are learned, but then they don't put this learning to good use. They use it for all kinds of evil stuff. Which brings me to the third item on the list, which is the Kanji Road to Yakshi. Now imagine you guessed it, walking along a highway, but this time with palm trees, like the ones you see in southern India. And I don't know if you've ever walked in southern India, but it's just heavenly. In the evening, the air is redolent with the smell of jasmine flowers. Then you see a woman come out of the shadows. She is like mad, crazy, attractive. You think of the most beautiful woman you have ever seen. She is 10 times more beautiful than that. And she's also got the smell of palm oil in her hair and jasmine all over her body. And she says, won't you join me? Won't you join me? Now, you know, most men, they'll say, yeah, sure, why not? And then they follow her. And when it's too late, they realize that her back is hollow. There's really nothing inside. At which point, she drains the blood out of your body and leaves you in a pile of bones on the floor. And you know, if you've been left as a pile of bones on the floor, you're not going to do things like enjoy orange juice or write a book or play a match of tennis. Your life is pretty much over. The lesson here is that people who are superficially attractive outside, you know, when you want to form a long and lasting relationship with someone, you gotta look beyond that. And you gotta look at what's inside. And in this case, the Kanjuroti Yakshi had nothing inside. Now remember, I began this story with a walk along the river. And this person who drowns you takes your form and lives out your life with your family. Now this horrific creature is called the Baak, or the thief of lives. What I didn't mention at the start is that this person just doesn't live with your family. This Baak goes to your family, assumes your identity, and then kills all of your family members one by one. Now, psychologically, what is the Baak trying to say? It is the most horrific realization of all. It is we all think we are so special and the world revolves around us. But what these ancient Indians were trying to say is that, hey, you don't matter that much. Even if your identity is fully erased, the world will continue to revolve without you. Now, the next creature is something that's truly horrendous. It is the Nishi Daak. And what the Nishi Daak does is that it waits until the night and it calls out to you in the exact voice of one of your loved ones. So like your child, your mother, your wife, or your husband, or whatever. And you hear this voice and say, wow, let me go outside and see what's cooking. You into the forest, and then it kills you. Now, what the ancient Indians were trying to tell us with the Nishi Daak was that sometimes the people we love the most, we are most vulnerable there. And there are forces out in the world that can exploit that love and lead you to your doom. Now, speaking of creatures who show up outside your home, there is a really scary one called the Naleba. And what this one does is that it knocks at your door at night. Now, if you answer the door, then it's like that movie Ring. You die by vomiting blood and stuff in the next 24 hours, which really is not a great way to go. Now, what the Naleba, the psychological vulnerability that it exploits, is that you think your home is your inner sanctum. And then once you're at home, all is good and all is chill. But the outside world is never too far away. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is called the Pichal Peri. And this is something that's very relevant to your times. Now, I don't know if you know the term uncanny valley. It's a lot of what you see in these AI images, where something looks human, but not quite. And this is the vulnerability that the Pichal Peri exploits. So you're walking along the mountains and you're whistling a tune and stuff. And suddenly this Pichal Peri comes in the form of a bride. And she is like incredibly attractive. There is something slightly off about her, you know, that uncanny valley. But you just choose to ignore it and you go with the Pichal Peri. And once you're in the mountains, she will finish you. What is the moral of the Pichal Peri? You know, many times in life we feel something is wrong in our bones, but we choose to ignore that red flag. We say that, no, this is all good. And we choose to believe some story that we have concocted in our heads. So don't do that. If you feel something is wrong in your bones, your gut is pretty smart and you should listen to it. So as you can tell, all of these ancient Indian mythological figures aren't just scary figures. They exploit your deepest vulnerabilities. The fear of being replaced and not mattering. The fear of being betrayed by someone you love. And the fear of the stranger at the door. So the next time you're walking along the highway or you hear a knock at that door, just keep to yourself. Put in your AirPods, don't make eye contact, and keep walking. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like videos about Indian mythology, history, and Buddhism, that's the kind of stuff I'm going to post. Please consider subscribing for this channel so that we might meet again. Have a lovely week and enjoy the next 7 days that lie ahead. Bye.